Hello. Bl'Artagnan here with Commodore of the Skies, the Aranea Lost Chapter Lufe Plus. We have a fun little No Synergy, No Burst Plus run for you here, featuring Terra, Agrias, and Core. I know Core basically is like bringing an extra BT on the team, but I had a lot of fun with this one anyway. This is not a no boss turn run, because I mean, the way these guys work, if you try to no turn them, they punish you with the HP shield, and it's no good. But it's a one turn run, and I think that'll be perfectly sufficient for what we're trying to do here. I feel like it's been a hot second since I've done a team that doesn't feature a green unit somewhere on it. Well, okay, technically the friend unit's green, but it's all good. This is just a good time that I wanted to have. Before we get too deep into it, be sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Both really help support the channel. We're slowly marching toward 500 subscriptions, which is pretty dope when I think about it. So thank you again, as always, for the support. I really appreciate it. Hopefully what I provide here is pretty entertaining and informative. So Agrias at this point, we've actually done most of the complicated stuff just now. The basic trick is, thanks to the speed down from Hyoro and from Terra, we were able to get enough turns that Agrias is able to apply Fated Moly and then tag out before they take a turn. We wanted them to take one turn so that we could get away with, just kind of beating them down from here on out without them doing anything to react. And beside that, it's basically going to be, Terra Core 101. We're bringing in the Y'shtola friend with the Burst Plus, because it's broke-tastic, especially with Core and with Terra. The 50% Brave gain up is going to be pretty dope, not going to lie. Now, it's time to bring in the Kurasame main call. The reason I'm doing that is to keep the enchant up. If we dropped it too soon, it would have, we're going to have to give Core one extra turn during the course of this in order for him to refresh his buff on Terra. And I don't want that enchant falling off because that's a big source of damage from Core. You'll see that, look at that. 97k on each enemy from that follow-up. It's going to be pretty similar numbers across. Okay, they're going to be going down over the course of the fight, of course, but he's going to be pumping out respectable damage, and when that ice enchant falls off, that's going to fall off as well. Just enough that we care about it, Just managed to get rid of the orbs before it counts down. So, yeah, from here on, it's basically just, Terra stuff. We're going to be spamming Meltdown, mostly because the animation's a little bit quicker. I don't think at this point it makes a huge difference damage-wise. I think they both are just max capping, which is, fantastic. But thanks to Y'shtola, Core is refunding like crazy, dealing a bunch of damage between the burst effect and the weakness damage. You'll notice here I'm brave attacking, specifically with Core. With Y'shtola I probably could have HP attack, but the reason I brave attack with Core is because I want him to be at iBrave at all time, to get those Terra or the Y'shtola bonuses. And if he had expended all of his brave on that launch, his damage actually would have suffered a little bit going forward, because he would have been starting at the 0 brave and would have had to kind of build up with refunds, and it would have just taken a while and probably not been worth doing. So I figured, brave attack. Maybe we lost a turn or two off doing that, but I like to think that we actually gained some damage just by keeping Core at max brave, or at least above iBrave for those Y'shtola burst conditionals. We don't want to be losing that delicious brave gain up. Might as well just throw Jack in here real quick. I guess we could have waited, but it's okay. So beyond this, I'm just going to be spamming out those Terra attacks. We're going to drop the burst as our second to last Chaos Wave here, so that we can use the last Chaos Wave with the burst effect still in effect. In previous runs, I was trying to see how good I could get this run, and it's not flawless. I'm sure there was little optimizations here or there I could make, especially toward the end. But I'm pretty happy with the way this run is turning out. And one optimization was saving one Chaos Wave for while the burst effect is going on, to take advantage of that. Before I was using the burst as my last source of Chaos Wave, and obviously the burst effect outlasts Chaos Wave, so it's not the greatest. Speaking of bursts, it's time to use Terra Burst now. Nice thing about Core here is we can keep the orb pretty much permanently up without any range damage on the team, because we're critting them pretty much every turn, even if Terra is using Meltdown over Meteor. We have enough HP damage that we're just hitting nutso numbers. Although I will say during the burst, because we are dropping, we lose the Loving Heart refund. So you can see she's not starting at iBrave on some of the rounds, and so her damage goes down a little bit. But I mean, at this point, they're getting killed so quickly that it doesn't really matter. This is pure optimization stuff that I'm talking about for the sake of, I don't know. If you're watching this and you're still figuring out some of the nuances of the game, you're like, oh, how can I do better? Or why isn't my run, the same number of turns as this other guy? Or why can't I beat this? Little things can sometimes help, and so that's why I try to share this, even though in the grand scheme of things, it's not like I would have failed the run if I, played things differently. If that makes sense. Anywho, what do we got going on here? We're trying to decide what to do here because we need to refresh that core buff at some point. We decide, you know what, we want to take advantage of that enchant, so we don't want that falling off. So even though core's buff is going to fall off during this last chaos wave, so we won't be getting the follow-up every attack, we're going to keep that enchant for the full majority of the chaos wave, and for the follow-up attacks he does do. Look at that, 250k damage on his follow-up attack alone. This is nuts. Look at the Terra Burst is really funny. 300,000. Gee, just numbers. Now here I probably should have HP attacked. I was still kind of operating under that iBrave thing I was talking about, but now the follow-up attacks are gone, so what's the point? I mean, I guess the point is on the start of his turn he's going to have those HP damage ups, but he's already at max. But, sometimes I tend to overthink these things. Like, at the end of the day, they're at 20% health. We're under 20 turns at the moment. It's all good. Gonna start spamming at LDs. I forgot there that he actually had 10 stacks and didn't need to use the LD there. Because he builds them up from the follow-up taps, and I don't use core frequently enough to remember that, but it's okay. Still doling out the harshness, as they say on the streets. They don't say that. Nobody says that. Doling out the harshness. The fuck is that? But we're going to go ahead and use the last LD and rainbow numbers here, because they're awesome and we like them. And then we're going to go ahead and reapply the follow-up buff onto Terra. See if we can't kill them in some and keep this run to 20 turns. That'd be pretty cool. 20 is a nice number, a nice low number. I feel like most of my runs lately have been going pretty high in the turn count. I've never really specialized in low turn runs, so this feels pretty good to get a 20 turn run. And abracadabra, Riot Blade for the win. There we go, that was a fun little romp. I hope you enjoyed it. I have no idea when Kistis' event comes, or if Zac Banner is tonight, or what's going on, but in any event, whatever happens, I'll see you in the next video. I hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching. Adios.